So essentially the scribe is asking, what is the most important thing that God asks us to do? And of course, it's basically to be in relationship with Him. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and understanding. And then, if you choose really to love God, you have to show that somewhere. And not just a relationship between you and God, but you and all of the other people around you. Love your neighbor as yourself. I was thinking, man, if we could actually do this, what a wonderful world it would be. But so many other things get in the way of our loving God and loving our neighbors. That is, the demands of work and school, children, grandchildren, friends, enemies, etc. All of these things get in our way, and it's so hard to focus on our relationship with God. So many other things vie for our attention. So Jesus is saying those words certainly to the people a few thousand years ago, but also to us in our own time. Where are we focused? That really is our challenge. And as Christian people, we are, of course, are called to be focused on our relationship with God and other people, but boy, is that hard to achieve. I don't know about you, but focus can be very difficult. Have you ever read a book and you go along after 2 or 3 pages and you realize, I have no idea what I just read? And if you've been driving and all of a sudden you realize, hey, how did I miss my stop? You know, you drive past the exit. It's so easy to lose our focus. And the gospel today is calling us to focus, put our concentration on the correct things in our lives, and to refocus a purpose for ourselves. For example, in our relationships with other people, all of us say that we want to maintain a better relationship with family and friends. You know, I really have to get together with these different people. But what happens? Things get in the way and you just start to drift. And before you know it, you've lost contact with people that you really enjoy being with. The one thing that we've realized in our family is a lot of my cousins I see at weddings and funerals, and that's it. And we really have tried to refocus ourselves in that way. So we've started to have cousins' days. And the first cousin day we had was great, and we didn't invite the aunts and the uncles, and they were very upset with us. So it actually caused more problems than it solved. So now, yeah, we have to invite the aunts and the uncles, but normally they're the ones that we end up talking about when they show up. But even more seriously, in terms of our focus, spouses. They start out in love on their wedding day, and everything is well, and then time comes up, and then responsibilities of work comes up, and then certainly children come into the picture, and you can start to take your spouse for granted. And so Jesus is calling us to refocus on the love that God has given to you. Also, too, my brother priests, some of them, unfortunately, have lost focus on their vocation and what they were supposed to be about. And that led to some very ugly, awful behavior that has been in the news these past many years. And so focus can be, losing focus can be a very, very serious thing. And so Jesus is saying today, if you want to focus on something, once again, focus on your relationship with God and investing yourself completely in that and loving your neighbor as yourself, and all will be well. I'm reading a book right now called The Captain's Chair about leadership, and it's based upon leadership on very successful sports teams from all over the world. And he says that there's always one person who is like uber focused on the team. Think of Michael Jordan back during the run of the Chicago Bulls. There was one night he had the flu, and he looks like he's dead in his chair. But then the whistle sounds, and boom, he's up, and the Bulls win, even though he had this horrible flu. And I remember one particular picture of him. He's on the court, and the person who's defending him falls to the floor. Now, don't be me, I would think, well, you should ask how he's doing, you know? But no, Michael said, this is a great opportunity, and takes a shot and scores. And I just realized how very, very different I am from Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Pele in the soccer world, they're not perfect people. They're not role models many times, but they did have a great focus that brought them success in their sports. So Jesus is calling us to the same type of focus, and not being a monk or a sister or a priest or anything like that, but in the bad times saying, God, help me in this, and having the confidence that with Jesus at the center of our life, even in the most difficult times, we can rise above. And in the good times, once again, focusing on God's presence and saying that the good times are here because God has blessed me, and praying in a spirit of humility and gratitude. So in all things, Jesus is saying today, know that God is your soul, your strength, and in your heart, and that your neighbor is Jesus' presence in the world. And when we are truly focused, and when we are truly saying that God is the source and the center, it is that time when we are truly joy-filled, knowing that God is shaping our lives and also bringing us to joy and new hope in our life.